Hi Benoît, thank you for your time today. For those who may not know you, can you do an introduction of who you are and what you do?
Hello Annabel, and hello everyone. My name is Benoît Mintiens. I'm the founder of Ressence. This is an independent watch company.
And for you personally, when did your personal interest in watches begin?
I think from a young age I've been a designer. And so products is something that I've always been attracted to, and the aesthetics of them, but also how they work. As a kid, you have those kids that dismantle everything. I was one of them. Watches for me was also one of the products I really liked to see inside also.
You mentioned you have a background in industrial design.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me more about that, and
Yeah.
What kind of products did you use to design?
I worked 12 years as a design consultant. I also studied industrial design. The company I worked for was specialized in transportation projects, like trains. They did quite some trains and trams. I worked on a very wide range of work for medical devices, for oncology treatments. I even designed many shotguns for a gun manufacturer. I worked for companies like in furniture. It's a long list, so if you want me to go on.
Quite different from watches. So how did you even begin to found your own watch brand?
Actually, how it started, the spark was a friend who asked me to design a watch for him, because he's a diamond trader. He took me to two shows, and the main one was Baselworld. And so as a designer, you look at all the products and how they're designed, and you come back a bit frustrated because you see these amazing booths they have, all these brands, and then you see that they don't pay a designer to do their watches, at least not a good one. I was naive and I thought, okay, I'm gonna do this differently, and that's how it started.
Definitely you have done things differently.
Yeah.
Can you talk a bit about your unique approach to watchmaking?
Basically, I applied what I learned as an industrial designer to high-end fine watchmaking. This is basically what I did. That translates into something that is sometimes called design thinking. Usually, products are not designed by designers. They are designed by engineers, by researchers. It depends a bit in which field you are. And in the end, it comes to a designer, and usually what they say is, make it beautiful. That is too late already, because all the decisions that needs to be taken before, like how it works, how it interacts, where you put this and that information, etc. So there are many interactions that you have with the product, and those ones they are usually defined at the R&D stage.
And when you say you're designing, for a person, or who's the kind of person that you have in mind, and how is the watch built for that person?
When you start, you don't know who is going to be that person, but we are all humans, and so we tend to have some similarities between us, otherwise we could not define ourselves as humans. A watch is a product that expresses time. You could also call it a service provider. A good product supplies a service. The service I decided to take should express time in a proper way.
So explain a bit about how you tell the time on a Ressence watch.
We have something very particular in our watches, is the fact that the time is displayed on a single surface. On a normal watch you have hands, and these hands are on top of each other. Whereas a Ressence, everything is in the same plane, the same surface. I take the logics of a screen or a display. A screen is a very effective way to represent time because it's two-dimensional. And as we have two eyes, we can read things that are two-dimensional. We can read them easier than if they're three-dimensional. I took that as a starting point, and what did I take? It was the angle and the hierarchy. So a big hand is the one for the minutes, a smaller thick one is for the hours. because our brain has been trained to search for the biggest hand, for example. If you know, usually you know in what hour you are. So the starting point from a Ressence dial is the minutes. So the main disc, where all the other discs are related to, is the minute disc, because that's the one you check 80% of the time. And all the others are inside that disc. And so it moves around a bit like a planetary system inside each other. In the beginning, it's a bit confusing, but after a day, you're completely used to it, and it works quite well, actually.
So apart from this unique system that you also have a few other innovations like the e-crown.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a bit about that?
One step further in this quest of better legibility was to add oil to our dials. And you could say, yeah, why do you put oil? Well, it increases the contrast. It's a bit like a stone. If you put a drop of water on a stone, it suddenly becomes darker. On top of that, the oil also eliminates the refraction between the dial and the sapphire glass, what gives you the effect that the information is displayed on the outside of the watch. And then you mentioned the e-crown. E-crown is a technology that we developed. It is a automation of the crown functions on a mechanical watch. So all the things that you do with a crown, so setting the time or winding your watch or even stopping the seconds if you want to just keep the power reserve, all these things are done by e-crown for you. On top of that, this technology allows you to have different time zones. So you can learn different time zones to the watch. You do that by setting it manually. The application is actually a bit like a remote control for television. You just send in the city in the watch. Once that's done, it's in the watch and there is no connection anymore.
And why did you decide to incorporate digital features into a watch?
We look at watchmaking from the perspective of the user. We don't look at watchmaking from the perspective of the craftsmanship, even though our watches are extremely complicated to produce. If you say, my main focus is the person that wears the watch, well, then you think about technologies that will help that person when he wears the watch.
Today, you are wearing the Type 3
The Type
in
3
a very
EE.
beautiful new color. Can you talk a little bit more about this watch?
Yeah. The Type 3 has been introduced in 2013. So this is the 5th generation Type 3. You don't see it on the outside, so all Type 3s look the same. The generations are on the inside. The generations are defined by the functionality for you as a user. So a 5th generation is easier to set than a 4th generation, for example. We have introduced we call it eucalyptus. Some people give it other names because when you start with colors, everyone has his opinion. Everyone has his opinion about it. So basically, it's only a color, but for us, it's an important step because until now, we did not do many subtle colors. We were able to develop a coating technique to coat the titanium components with a color. Because titanium is usually they do it galvanically to have colors.
And are there any other new design features on the new latest Type 3?
Maybe the only thing that is really different is that we applied our font to the watch, also on the back. So Ressence has his own font that has been designed because of the fact everything is milled in. So also the numbers, the hands are milled in the parts and then filled up with luminous material. And if you mill, well, the end of the line is always round because the mill is round. I would say graphically that's maybe the difference between a previous version.
And of course, Ressence watches are very unique to other watches in the market.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe the Ressence customer?
For sure, someone that is not biased. When you buy an independent brand, per definition, the others don't know what you wear because it's another big, very well-known brand. A person that wears a Ressence, I can really describe him as a person that is, I think, an independent thinker, someone is attracted to objects very often. We have clients that have no watch and that when they're 50 they decide to buy a Ressence. And because they're not attracted to watchmaking, they're attracted to products. Yeah, I think it's really the independent mind that will be our client.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time again today.
Thank you very much.